James Gunn and Raja Gosnell's near-mythical first R-rated Scooby-Doo cut reveals 8 shocking new details and several deleted scenes from the 2002 movie. First released on June 14, 2002, Gosnell and Gunn's movie represents the first live-action Scooby-Doo franchise installment, which sees Mystery Incorporated reunite after a 2-year split to investigate supernatural occurrences at popular horror-themed tropical island resort Spooky Island. Despite a lukewarm critical reception upon release, Scooby-Doo 2002 has since garnered a cult following, owing in no small part to the movie's much-hyped R-rated cut that has never seen the light of day. Screen Rant Video of the Day. Although Scooby-Doo's R-rated cut was not confirmed as existing until 2017, the core cast's comments surrounding the movie certainly hinted at its existence. Stars such as Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar hinted at Scooby-Doo's much darker and satirical initial tone, while Matthew Lillard described the movie's demons as really scary. They were softened in a 2012 Reddit AMA. On the 15th anniversary of Scooby-Doo's release, writer James Gunn subsequently revealed in a Facebook post that an R-rated cut of Scooby-Doo did exist at one point in time, despite also not offering a deep level of detail on the original script. Every unmade James Gunn movie. However, 20 years after Scooby-Doo's initial release, a revealing YouTube interview with Scooby-Doo editor Kent Bader has shed light on the content of the movie's R-rated cut. Presenters JB and Millie, in association with Smash's Ashton Hardy, spoke at length with Bader, who also edited the sequel Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, to get the long-awaited details of the Scooby-Doo scenes deemed too risque for a family-friendly picture. As a result, here's all 8 major details and deleted scenes from Scooby-Doo's R-rated cut revealed by Bader, as well as whether or not the near-mythical Gosnell cut still exists today. Click here to watch the full interview with Kent Bader on YouTube. A test audience forced changes to Scooby-Doo's monsters. Kent Bader confirms near the beginning of the JB and Millie interview that writer James Gunn and director Raja Gosnell were creating a live-action Scooby-Doo to appeal to all ages, including the parents of the children that watch the animated Hanna-Barbera features themselves and college students alike. Bader describes the initial Gosnell R-rated cut as a little racy when it was previewed in 2001 in Scottsdale, Arizona, but admits he was surprised by the reaction of the conservative test audience to the film. According to Bader, parents at the initial Scooby-Doo preview reacted very badly to this early movie version, reserving particular ire for the film's premise of demons from outer space collecting the souls of students. The audience offense taken at the use of the words demon and soul due to their religious connotations meant Gosnell and company were forced to scramble, with the Scooby-Doo live-action actors re-recording lines in which demons became creatures and souls became protoplasm, in an effort to make the movie's nefarious monsters more universally palatable. Bader also admits that, in the R-rated cut, the Scooby-Doo demons successfully infiltrate the Pentagon despite Scrappy-Doo's defeat, although this scene was also cut following poor audience reaction. Shaggy was a stoner in James Gunn's original Scooby-Doo cut. In deference to a long-held fan theory, Gunn and Gosnell's original Scooby-Doo cut contained several drug references that unequivocally point to Shaggy being a stoner. While some drug-related gags, such as Shaggy falling in love with a girl called Mary Jane or musical youths past the Dutch sheet playing as the camera pans in on a mystery machine, made the final cut, others were omitted to keep the film's family-friendly rating. Bader describes one such omitted gag in which the camera zooms in on the mystery machine to reveal a sign that reads, "Pot $5, before panning out to reveal an actual clay pot that Shaggy and Scooby are using to store flowers in. What to expect from Scoob 2 and spin-off movies. Another gag deemed too risky for the finished Scooby-Doo version was planned as the Mystery Incorporated gang land on Spooky Island and Emil Mondavarius tells them he is worried about students' possession at the resort. Fred's original thinly veiled retort was again designed with Shaggy in mind, with Fred stating, "The only possession these kids need to worry about is when they go back through customs." Daphne and Velma's axed romance in Scooby-Doo. Along with Shaggy's reproposing from quintessential stoner to lovable goof, Daphne and Velma, had very different character arcs. Scooby-Doo's original R-rated cut. Beta describes several scenes in which Daphne and Velma have a burgeoning romance, beginning on the Spooky Island plane when Velma checks out Daphne as she struggles with her luggage. Then, as the Mystery Incorporated gang enjoys their first night on the island and Velma sings, "You're Too Good to Be True," she is originally shown singing in Daphne's direction, much to Fred's chagrin. The pair's blossoming romance supposedly escalates further as the Scooby-Doo R-rated cut wears on, with Daphne and Velma's souls refusing to switch back into their respective bodies. Their original solution to restore their own souls is described as a passionate kiss, which is a far cry from the bouncing protoplasms that eventually made it into the final cut of Scooby-Doo in 2002. Beta also reveals the more racy shots of Daphne and Velma's cleavage was CGI'd out of many final Scooby-Doo scenes, with the visual effects department rushing to cover up the two female leads with higher-cut dresses after poor preview reactions. Scooby-Doo's Fred and Daphne had a far more risk relationship. Aligned alongside the originally planned romance for Daphne and Velma in Scooby-Doo, Daphne also had a far less storybook romance with Fred. According to Beta, one of the Scooby-Doo movie's deleted scenes involves Fred and Daphne sharing adjoining rooms on Spooky Island, with Fred trying to spend the night with Daphne to prevent her from being scared. In the original cut, Daphne subsequently retorts that she has only been pretending to be scared to lull the island into a false sense of security, before saying that it is not the only thing she faked. As with many of the above examples, this biting back and forth between the couple was cut in favor of a more palatable romance between the two, which better aligned with Prince Jr. and Gelle's real-life storybook romance at the time. Every Hanna-Barbera movie set up by Scoob. Velma's deleted Scooby-Doo scene. In one of the most bizarre reveals by Beta, the Scooby-Doo editor talks about another take on Velma's "You're Just Too Good to Be True" scene at the Spooky Island bar. While Velma's singing scene under the placebo effect of non-alcoholic island drinks has become one of the most celebrated Scooby-Doo moments in its own right, Beta confirms there was another scene that was part of the naughty version and the nice version dualities Gosnell filmed for the movie. Velma's deleted bar scene instead sees the Mystery Incorporated sleuth take her sweater off and begin dancing around the tables to Cypress Hill's "Insane in the Brain," which is quite the departure from the softly sung overture eventually included in the 2002 movie. Kent Beta confirms Spooky Island Coast Guards were possessed. Midway through Scooby-Doo, Mary Jane, Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby call Spooky Island's Coast Guards after witnessing demons dragging several victims to the Demon Ritu's underground chamber. Mary Jane tells them her friends have been kidnapped before the two Coast Guards taking the call hang up and begin maniacally cackling to each other. This scene has been a continued source of debate for Scooby-Doo audiences over the last 2 decades, with many fans rightly querying what the Coast Guards' true motivations were for ignoring the gang's distress call. Yet Beta finally closes the book on this 20-year mystery, stating the Coast Guards were definitely possessed in line with most of Spooky Island already being under demonic control at this point in the movie. The Luna ghost originally appeared at the end of Scooby-Doo's story. While Old Man Smith's Luna ghost appears at the beginning of Scooby-Doo as the catalyst for Mystery Incorporated's breakup, his original involvement in the R-rated version came at the end of the movie. Smith's originally planned inclusion was far more minimal, with Beta confirming he was initially just an onlooker in the Spooky Island crowd as Scrappy-Doo was arrested, setting the Luna ghost up as a potential villain for a Scooby-Doo sequel. Does the Gosnell cut still exist? Although the ideas cut from the final Scooby-Doo product have the potential to create an almost entirely tonally different movie, Beta believes it is doubtful the pieces needed, or indeed the original Gosnell cut, could still exist today. Beta recounts that due to the VFX scramble needed to change entire swathes of the R-rated cut, the original copies were worked over instead of creating new scenes from scratch. Furthermore, Beta confirms that the original VFX company the Scooby-Doo movie used in 2001, Rhythm and Hues, no longer exist, making it unlikely the R-rated cuts have been saved, although he does concede he has some poor quality outtakes saved for his own personal collection.